Well, we're here at the Chicago River, Chicago landmark, and really it becomes a pretty fun destination every year around St. Patrick's Day because the city dumps millions of gallons of green something into the water to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And I'll be honest with you, it never really loses that color. You know, as we're talking about kind of our images and understandings of who God is and where those come from and how those can be more formed by who He actually is, it got me thinking about green things in my life and how much, honestly, I'm terrible when it comes to growing anything green. I remember I was 13 years old and my family had just moved into a new house, brand new housing development. House was great, beautiful view actually of the entire San Francisco Bay. Everything about the house was new except for the backyard. It was a pretty big backyard, and it must have been honestly like on the house builders, like their last to-do item on an apparently abandoned to-do list. Because in between our beautiful new house and this beautiful new view lay this desolate desert. I mean, there was nothing back there but dirt and weeds. And I would spend the rest of the summer engaging in like hand-to-hand combat with these weeds on their turf, on their terms. It only took one summer for me to learn how much I hate gardening and how little I actually have of a green thumb. Well, what Jesus offers us is a very different image of God. An image of God that actually loves green and loves to grow things. What Jesus does for us is He pulls from the soil of our story an image that everyone could at least relate to, if not understand. Jesus speaks about gardening. It's an image that paints Himself as a vine and you and me as the branches that grow from that vine, and His Father God as the gardener. The power of this image, honestly, I think has to be explored if we're ever to understand our green-thumbed gardener, God, and why He wants each of us to grow. Now, after all, if you think about it, the image is pretty powerful because it was in a garden that our story began, where humanity was hand-planted by God and rose from the fresh soil of creation. And it's there in the garden, actually, that God tended to Adam and Eve and nurtured them with His care and His love. Jesus gives us this image of a God with dirty fingernails and hands. Hands that plant and water and weed and prune. Hands that are intimately familiar and unafraid of the dirty soil of this world, of our lives. Jesus shows them who they are, or rather, He shows them who they are in relationship to the Father and the Son. This is our job when it comes to how we relate to our green-thumb gardener God. He says, "Remain in me, as I also remain in you." No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I'm the vine. You're the branches. That's you and me. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear what? Much fruit. You will bear much fruit. But apart from me, you can do nothing. Our job couldn't be any simpler. All we have to do is stay. Stay. It is amazing to me how I struggle and strive and stray when all I've ever been asked to do is stay. Promise is clear. Stay with me. Connect to me, drawing your life from me, and you'll not only grow, but you'll bear fruit. You are actually supposed to bear fruit. You were created by God to grow and bear fruit. You have something of worth and wonder to give to this world. You are not supposed to be the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That's God's job. Your job is to grow and give of yourself the life that's been given to you. Now, Jesus goes on to say this in John 15:8. This is really important. He says this, "This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples." In other words, not only were you created to grow, but you were created to bear fruit. Not only were you created to bear fruit, but your fruit is meant to be a gift to this world that points back to the work of a good gardener in your life. But there's also a warning, and it's as clear as the promise. Jesus said, "Stray from me, and you'll find your life empty and disconnected and ultimately fruitless." That you and I cannot and will not grow on our own. It's only by the hand of the gardener, connected to the vine of Jesus, within the safety of the garden, that we actually can grow, that we're meant to grow. To expect otherwise is to be disappointed and disconnected from the life that you were created to live. Connectedness starves my selfishness. My self-will and your self-will and determination will always believe that we're kind of better off on our own, away from sort of the confines of the garden, free from the hand of the gardener. Our self-centeredness will always convince us that it's all about us, it's all about me, right? Instead of offering the fruit of my life to the world, we'll take whatever we think we need from whoever we think we can get it from. Left to ourselves, we will break off from the vine and inch our way away from the gardener and go outside of the garden, where we will most certainly die. Or at the very least, not live the life God created you to live. So despite our unspoken assumptions, we don't find God as sort of the puppet master that we might have imagined, manipulating and controlling our lives, void of freedom and life and will. But rather, Jesus introduces us to a God who walks through the garden of this world, lovingly cultivating and crafting a space for us to do what we are actually created to do, which is to grow. This gardener knows and cares for every single branch. Every single branch. He never stops. He knows when and where to care, to weed, to prune. He is the one who does the work. A branch cannot see the full scope of the garden. A branch can't control any one of the elements of life. A branch can't will its way to grow on its own. A branch can't even survive on its own. It lives and grows and bears fruit only by the hand of the gardener, connected to the vine, which is Jesus. So why then? Why then do I always try and take care of myself? Why do I work so hard? We work so hard to create and protect a life for ourselves on our own terms, by our own efforts. Why do words like love and joy and peace, patience and kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, the fruit of the Spirit, why do these so oftentimes just seem like good ideas than actual realities that flow from our lives? Why do we find it so hard to trust the one who planted us and who knows us and who longs for us to grow? Why won't we just stay? Could it be that we've maybe missed the God of the green thumbs? The God that Jesus trusted to guide and guard and shape His every decision, His every relationship, His every day, His very life. Could it be that all of our striving and struggling to craft and create a life for ourselves in the shallow soil of our self-will and determination has left us honestly more empty and lifeless than we could have imagined? Could it be that you've forgotten to just simply stay? Stay in the presence of God. Stay connected to Him. Could it be that God is actually inviting you right now to stop, literally, stop, sit, stay, to trust, to plant yourself deeply and to wait and watch as He does in your life what He's been doing all throughout human history. Like, isn't it time, students, for you to come to your gardener God and offer back to Him the life He promised could be yours? Will you do just about the only thing that you and I actually can do? Will you stay connected to God and let Him be exactly who He says He is?